What's up, guys? I'm Noah Cooper with Athletic Body Systems. Today we're going to talk about 3 reasons that you're not building muscle. These are in no particular order, but we're going to go ahead and just start with the most obvious one. And that is, guys, that you're probably just not training hard enough, okay? So a lot of guys, and this is especially true for beginners, right? A lot of people will go into the gym and let's say you're going to train chest that day. So you'll lay down on the bench or you'll find a good machine press exercise, whatever the exercise may be, right? You'll pick a weight that's decently challenging, sure, and you'll get to 10 reps and you'll just stop. Regardless of whether or not you could have kept going, a lot of people like to just stop at 10 reps. It's a good whole number. A lot of guys act like it's some magic number. The truth is it's completely arbitrary. It doesn't matter, if you're picking weight to do sets of 10, sets of 8, sets of 5, sets of 12 or 20 or whatever it is, right? You got to look at how hard you're actually exerting yourself on that set. So a good way to measure this is to look at your bar speed, or just the speed at which you complete the reps towards the end of the exercise, right? Towards the end of the set. So if you start your set of 10, right, those first few reps, you're probably going to be lifting the weight pretty quickly, right? It's not super challenging right off the bat because you've got 10 reps to go through. As you get to the end of that set, if it's truly challenging, you're going to notice that your speed at which you're completing the rep has significantly dropped down to the point that you may be sitting there for like 2 seconds pushing as hard as you can before you actually complete the rep, right? If you're using a barbell exercise, this is called bar speed, right? If it's a machine press, it's just the speed at which you're completing that last rep. But you got to understand that hard training is hard because you're training close to failure. You're training to the point to where you can't really complete any more reps if you wanted to. And if you're just doing sets of 10, but the reps aren't slowing down any, there's a good chance you're not stimulating any growth whatsoever. So you've got to look at how much effort you're actually putting into each set, dig deep and push yourself, try to get as many reps as you can without letting your form break down, right? All right, reason number 2, and this is a big one, guys. I see this all the time. This should not be as controversial as it is, but one reason you're not gaining muscle is that you are not in a calorie surplus. Muscle is matter. Matter cannot be created nor destroyed. It has to come from some form of energy. So where is that going to come from? You can't just lift weights really, really hard and hope that you can just build muscle tissue out of thin air. It has to come from somewhere. It's going to come from the energy in the food that you eat. Now, a lot of science-based shenanigans are going around out there. A lot of people who do not have your best interest or who completely do not understand human physiology are trying to tell you that you don't need a surplus to build muscle. And that is not true. I can tell you from my own experience, I made more progress in like 9 months of bulking than I did in 2 years of eating really close to maintenance. I mean, it's crazy to look back and think, man, I could have built so much muscle if I would have just been eating more food. I've seen that with people I train. I've seen it with like friends that I talk to who are into lifting. It's just physics, right? You can't just be 150 pounds and just stay there and expect to have all this muscle tissue just grow on your body. Muscle weighs something, okay? The scale has to go up. There are people who will tell you, and on paper this is true. I haven't seen it work out in real life. There are people who will tell you that if you're like sitting at like 22% body fat or something, if you got a decent amount of body fat on you, that you can just eat at maintenance and your body will recomposition because you're training hard. So you'll slowly burn the fat off. The energy that's in those fat cells will be used to build new muscle tissue on your body, all from you just eating at maintenance and training hard. You'll be staying at the same weight, but you'll be changing your body composition. I've never seen that work. I've never seen it work. I've tried it. It just doesn't. You'd make so much more progress. You'd get there way faster if you just bulk and then cut back down later, okay? If you're trying to lose fat, the fastest way to do that is a significant calorie deficit. And if you want to build muscle tissue, you have to fuel your body to get stronger, to get bigger. You can't just be 150 pounds and then magically go to 180 without eating enough food to get there. If you're not getting bigger, you're not getting bigger. Now, before you guys start saying things like I'm telling you to just get fat in order to gain muscle and you shouldn't have to get fat to build muscle, that's not what I'm saying, okay? Nobody who has your best interest is going to tell you to just stuff your face every day for 6 weeks until you hate the way that you look. But you do need to be in a significant calorie surplus. I generally recommend 200 to 400 calories in excess of your maintenance calories every single day. If you're gaining like 2 pounds a month for a year straight, you're not going to get fat doing that. You're going to get jacked. You're going to get a lot stronger, and you're going to like the way that you look. But you do need to see the scale going up. There needs to be an upward trend over time. Just keep it steady. Don't do a dirty bulk and eat way too much food way too fast, right? But you do have to be in a calorie surplus in order to see the growth that you want. Lastly, reason number 3 is that you are taking short rest periods in between your sets. If you're taking short rest periods like 60 seconds in between your sets, I promise you you're not training hard enough like we talked about in point number 1. So you have 2 types of muscle fibers, aptly named type 1 and type 2 muscle fibers. The top 2 fibers are used in anaerobic activities like weightlifting. They're the ones responsible for those forceful contractions you make whenever you lift weights. They're the ones responsible for the majority of your size and your strength. So those are the ones you need to worry about when you're trying to get jacked, stacked, and juicy, right? So if you're training really hard, you're going to approach fatigue, right? You're going to fatigue those top 2 muscle fibers, which is what you want, but they need longer to recover than the type 1 fibers, which are used for more endurance-based activities, right? So studies have found that rest periods of 3 to 5 minutes are better for hypertrophy than 60-second rest periods because you're able to let those top 2 muscle fibers recover and you can stimulate them better for your next sets. And if you don't know all the nerd stuff and you don't want to talk about science, let's just use a common sense approach. If you're giving it your all for a set of 8 or 10 or whatever it is, right? You know that you got that last rep. You know that you gave it everything you had and you couldn't have got another rep if you tried. You really dug deep, full range of motion, right? You've stimulated the muscle effectively. You're not going to be able to feel ready to attack again for that next set. Your heart is still going to be beating pretty fast. You might be breathing pretty heavy. You're probably still going to be feeling the burn. You're not going to be ready to give that next set everything that you've got. And that's where muscle is built, right? You need to put intensity into your sets. You need to actually train hard and give each set everything that you've got. You've got to be ready to attack. And you're just not going to be able to do that if you're using short rest periods. That's why I generally recommend 3 to 5 minute rest periods. Depending on the exercise, I might do 2 minutes if I feel ready again. But right, that's the whole point. You don't need to really time your rest periods. Just wait until you feel mentally and physically ready to do that next set. And I promise you, you will see much better results that way than if you were just doing short little 60-second rest periods. Guys, these are some very common mistakes that we've all made. We're all guilty of most of these. I'm just trying to give you some tips on how to improve your workouts, things that you can implement in your own training to get the muscle growth and the strength that you actually want. So that's all I've got for today's video. If you guys found this video helpful and you want to see more videos like this, as well as exercise tutorials and some full workouts and things like that, go ahead and subscribe so you don't miss out on the gains. And follow me on Instagram at Athletic Body Systems. All right, guys, y'all have a great day.